Welcome to part 2 of my Raid Shadow Legends beginner guide. In this video, we're gonna go over 10 more beginner tips so you guys know what you should and should not be doing in Raid Shadow Legends. Again, if anything remains unclear after this video, feel free to leave a comment and you can be sure I'll get back to you and do my best to help you out. If you enjoy the content and find what I'm doing helpful, drop a like and subscribe to the channel, and don't forget you can download raids from my download link and get your hands on 2 of the best epics in the game, as well as get yourself some Wukong with the help of the promo code MonkeyKing. Now, let's get into the tips. Like I said, this is part 2 of the video, and yesterday when I was recording, I did record a few more extra tips, but the video was already way too long for a single one, so I decided to separate them into 2. So now we are a little bit into the future. The next few tips are going to be a little bit in the past, but you're still going to get the gist of it. The first tip from today's video is really important, and that's going to be regarding your faction wars. Faction Wars is basically free real estate for Raid Shadow Legends because you're actually not going to be spending your energy. It's not going to be taking up any of your normal resources like silver, like energy, like that kind of stuff. It's just going to be taking your daily raid keys. You have daily raid faction keys, here they are. And you can't really get yourself more out of these except from the advanced quest, but no need to talk about that. And what Faction Wars gives you is a lot of this stuff. This right here is glyphs. Glyphs are super important for the game because you could increase the stats of your items a lot more with the help of these bad boys. And the easiest way for you to be farming these would be if you do your daily faction keys. I know it's gonna be a little bit hard once you start, like for instance, look how few champions we have to work with here, but I'm pretty sure we can still get through some of these stages, not super hard, and still get our hands on a few glyphs here and there. These faction wars are not extremely challenging, but you're still gonna need some good strategy for the later levels, that's for sure. But as you can see right now, our Elhain is making easy work out of all of these, and we're gonna get our hands on some good level 1 glyphs, but still glyphs nonetheless. Alrighty, there we go, and here we already get to see a level 1 haste glyph. This is going to give us a little bit of extra speed on items of our choosing, and this way we will be able to get our champions even stronger through the help of glyphing our artifacts later. We can move down to the next one, rinse and repeat, and it's going to be a good idea for you guys to get through all of your faction keys like this, because this really is free resources the game is giving you over and over again each day, and it's going to be an excellent way for you to be farming glyphs, as well as some forge materials, which you don't really need to know too much about just yet, since that does unlock a little bit later. But if you want to hear more about the forge and how you can get tons of silver that way, you could definitely check out my silver raid guide. Okay, we can already see the power level is amping up a little bit here, but it's still easy work for our leveled up Elhain. Again, we are getting ourselves a level 1 precision glyph here to increase our accuracy a bit. And yeah, we rinse and repeat. We could even do super raids once you have actually cleared one of these stages. You could come back to it and do twice the amount of keys for twice the amount of rewards and stuff, and that is going to be very valuable extra resources for you. Don't get discouraged if you don't have anything to actually achieve some of these levels right now. Since Zadie did use my promo code, he has his Ugo in here, so he can definitely clear this stage as well for the first few at least. But for Knight's Revenant, again, yes he can, because he does have his Rector Draft, and again he could be getting himself some easy glyphs this way. Another really important tip, even for beginners, is you need to be playing your arena battles. Arena battles, a lot like your faction keys, are basically free real estate. And right now we're gonna see a lot of easy players we can actually be farming. Here we can see this guy has a very low power level. Here's the team power, you can notice how weak he is, but also make sure to double check if he doesn't have some curveball in here. Like for instance, some people could try and bait you into attacking them thinking they're super low power, but instead they have like a level 50 geared out Wukong and 3 level 1 rank 1 champions, and that way the power level is going to be deceptively low, but they are indeed going to be somewhat strong. Here we are going to be using Wukong's Speed Arena, so we're going to be a lot faster, and we're going to slap in just their best champions. They're not super geared or anything like that, but this just goes to show how easy it is for you to still farm out some extra stuff. Even as a beginner, even with weak champions and weak gear, you're still going to be able to find even weaker players here, you know? And there you have it. This gave us this little silver Ignat here, or however it's called, as well as this crest. And I'm going to explain a little bit more after I do a few more arenas in here. Yeah, this looks to be quite the weak champion, quite the weak team against us. We have Wukong, they don't, so this is going to be easy real estate for you. Elhain doing most of the heavy lifting again, but Wukong still slaps like a beast. And there we have it, another flawless victory. And we're already up to bronze 2. And it's going to be important for you guys to be finishing up all of these arenas, they do refresh 1 key for free each hour, so you could be coming back over and over. Here's a single one-man team defense. It's gonna be easy for you to farm that out, and even if you're not really good at Arena, even if you don't want to get good at Arena, you can still just occasionally check here and see if you don't have some easy opponents you can be farming out. Like that level 1, single Elhain team, that was just easy. This guy is also going to be pretty easy, just a single rank 4, a couple rank 3s, uncommon rank 4. This guy has no idea what he's doing, so Wukong is just going to farm him nicely. Come on, game, figure it out. There we go. And here we get a little bit more stuff. There are several really good reasons for you to be doing arenas. One of which is at the end of each week, you will be getting these chests just for playing 20 arena battles, I think. And from here, you could be getting a little bit of extra shards, a little bit of extra gems, some gear and whatnot. Pretty decent stuff. And the bigger your rank is, the bigger the rewards. I myself am on these chests, so I get even void shards, 75 gems occasionally, 5 and 6 star legendary gear. Very, very good drops. But you can definitely expect yourself to be at least in silver just by playing with Wukong. Seriously, just by having Wukong, you should be able to reach silver. Even as a level 50 Wukong, you should be able to climb, as long as you find yourself other weak people. If you want to keep on the lower ranks but still get your arena battles in, you could actually leave yourself with a single one-man defense, but let's not go too deep in these arena tips. Maybe I'm gonna do a dedicated arena tip video later. Like I said, there are several important reasons why it's a good idea to be doing your arenas. For starters, you do need to play 5 classic arenas to get yourself a full energy refill, a little bit of extra silver, a little bit of extra XP, and this is also gonna help you get that little bit of extra gems after you have finished all of your daily quests. That's also going to help you get the weeklies, the monthlies, all of that stuff. Definitely worth doing these. And the other reason would be the Forge, which once you hit level 30, you are actually going to be able to use that silver ignot I was talking about. I think it's called Magni Steel or something like that. And that way you could actually craft yourself some pretty decent gear, especially for a beginner. And you could also be crafting yourself a lot of gear you just sell for extra silver, with the help of the Arena, Magni Steel, as well as the Faction Wars materials. And the other really important thing for you to be farming those crests is you get to use them in your Great Hall. In the Great Hall, you will be able to actually improve your stats for your champions depending on the affinities you can notice. And you actually do also have some missions or challenges or whatever that do require you to actually level up some Great Hall stuff. Here we already finished this little arena challenge, getting ourselves a little bit of extra silver. And here's what it is. Here's what the crests are going to be used for. Initially, upgrade any affinity bonus at the Great Hall. That's going to give you 50 energy, and it's also going to get you closer to a rare skill tome, which is also nothing to scoff at. So yes, make sure to be doing your arenas, even if you don't enjoy them too much. Just get them out of there. Single man defenses, plenty of those. Plenty of weak defenses. Just get those arena battles in. Another thing, which is kind of a follow-up from the last video about ascending your champions, is how you can actually get yourself the potions needed for ascending your champions. And the way you do it is actually through the potion drops from Arcane Keep, or from the Spirit Keep, or from the Magic Keep, or from the Force Keep. Right now, new players have access to all 3 of those, actually all 4, even the Void, and the Arcane Keep, but after a few days, that's no longer going to be the case. These are going to be on rotation for you. You're going to have 24 hours to farm this, after that 24 hours for that, 24 for this, and once a week you get 24 hours to farm this thing on Sunday. And this is going to be important for you, so you can actually ascend your champions and make them stronger. It is going to take a while for you to actually farm the really strong potions, let's say for Wukong. Like Wukong is going to require the biggest potions, these ones. So you are actually going to have to get your thing really strong to be able to get these. But for things like Elhain, she's already maxed. For things like Rector Draft, you should be able to actually farm yourself some of the mid potions and actually get her ascended. At least a 3-star, but 4-star is also going to be requiring some of the really important ones. But yeah, the potion keeps are something you shouldn't really be too fussed about in the early game. These dungeons are definitely not rocket science, but they still have a little bit of strategy behind them, so you need to really try and understand what you should be doing against those. For instance, the Magic Keep could be a little bit tricky, but since we do have Wukong, it's not going to be that hard for you to actually deal with this champion. basically Wukong is going to be able to steal this boss's huge shield. Like, look at this, half his health is actually a shield, and with Wukong being able to steal that, then Wukong is going to have all of this extra health to work with. So this should definitely not be that hard for you to deal with, even in the first few days if you start your account right with my download link, as well as with the Monkey King code. Another thing you should really also not waste too much time on would be things like Iron Twins, as well as Sand Devil's Necropolis, as well as Phantom Shogun. These dungeons are actually strategically locked behind level 38, as well as level 38. This one's behind level 42. And the reason behind that is these dungeons are actually a lot harder than everything else. It's going to be far better for you to be starting off with much easier dungeons, which is going to be the next step. Yeah, it's going to take a while for you to actually have some meaningful teams for these here. Like Phantom Shogun requires you to have some ascensions, which is quite the mid-game thing you should be worrying about. Sand Devil's Necropolis requires some very specific strategies to get through that. And also Iron Twins could be a little bit of a problematic experience as well for most, especially in the early. So for now, it would be much better for you to concentrate on more beginner-friendly dungeons, which is, like I said, the next tip. And this is where Chris from the past comes and takes from there with the rest of the tips for this video. Next up, let's talk about which dungeons you should be concentrating on when you first start playing Raid, and right now, the easiest dungeon for you to start concentrating on would be Dragon's Lair. Dragon's Lair is actually pretty easy of a dungeon. It's really not that hard, and you don't even need super good champions to get through the first few levels. For instance, right now we're gonna use our Elhain. We just leveled up to rank 4. By the way, notice how this champion has an aura skill. Increase ally HP in all battles by 15%. So right now it would be a good idea for us to have Elhain as our lead champion in the leader position, so that her aura actually gets taken into account. We also have Wukong, who also has an aura, but look at what it actually reads. Increase ally speed in arena battles by 28%. This is an absolutely massive aura, but it doesn't do absolutely anything in dungeons. So pay attention to this. If it says dungeons, if this was saying in dungeons, it would have been huge. If this was saying everywhere in the game, this would be huge. But since it says arena, you're only going to use Wukong in arena battles as your leader. We also have Rector Draft here. She also has an aura, but it only works on Doom Tower. So we're going back to Elhain, which has increased ally HP in all battles by 15%. And we're just gonna fit in Wukong. He's absolutely broken of a champion. Rector Draft, super huge. We're gonna slap in Ugo, and one more. Okay, as champion, let's say Harris. What was her? Oh, she actually does increase speed in dungeons, so Harris would be a much better champion here. I know a lot of you will not have Harris, obviously, but it's still pretty worth it. And yes, Dragon is probably the easiest dungeon for you to get through. We're even gonna do it on auto here, so it becomes a little bit quicker. No need to really dilly-dally with what the champion skill actually do. We are gonna be able to breeze through the first few levels with ease. It's really not that hard. And the main reason why Dragon is such a good place to actually farm, not only is it pretty easy, pretty straightforward, but it also drops some pretty important sets for you. Dragon actually drops the speed set, which would be pretty lovely. Right now we only got ourselves Bruise because we are pretty low on the difficulty here. What you should be targeting is reaching stage 10, because that's where you actually start not getting any free drop items. Like, notice what the rewards are. Right now we're getting 1-star and 2-star items, so we're not going to be doing stage 1 anymore. We're going to try and climb ourselves up higher and higher. And it's going to be pretty easy because the first few levels are basically very, very beginner friendly, just to give you a feel of the dungeon. Even our support champions are actually killing some of these wave champions. Right now, this is stage 2. It actually gives you a chance of receiving a 3-star item, which again is nothing to write home about, obviously, but it is a step in the right direction. And again, dragging down fairly easily. And we got ourselves a 2-star epic shield. Not very amazing so far, but it's still something. It could be decent. We go to stage selection, and now we can see that stage 3 is going to be giving us only 2 and 3-star. Stage 4 is going to give us 2 up to 4-star, then 3-4, 3-5, all the way up to stage 10, which is still not going to be super hard. I don't think we're going to be able to finish it with this kind of setup just yet. We do need to level up these champions a little bit, put some decent gear on them and whatnot. But stage 10 is going to be very, very reachable for most of you after your first week in raid. And this should be your first goal. After you've ranked up a little bit more, stage 20 would be best because that's where you're going to be getting nothing but 5 and 6 star items, which is going to be huge. And on the left side, you can actually see what kind of sets this dungeon is dropping. And the really important sets here would be speed, lifesteal, and accuracy, I'd say. The others are also not the worst in the world just for a beginner, but they're definitely not as powerful as speed, lifesteal, and accuracy, because the effect of lifesteal, like you saw, is super good. Speed is very important, and accuracy is also pretty good. The next thing you really need to do as a beginner is you want to join yourself a clan. I helped Zadie find himself a pretty respectable clan yesterday, and he is already a member here. Even though he is much weaker than all of these other players, would be a great place for him to have a place to actually farm the clan boss. The clan boss is one of the most important things as an early game player. Honestly, even as an end game player, clan boss is just one of the best places to get yourself some massive, massive rewards. And here, since Zadie is so new to the game, it would be a good idea to try and get himself the easy clan boss first. What I'm noticing here is actually this clan is probably not such a good fit for Zadie because it seems like they're not killing the easy or normal bosses. Maybe it's just a little bit early. They're probably prioritizing the harder bosses first. But you really need to get yourself a clan that is killing the bosses you're actually attacking. In this case, we're going to be attacking the easy clan boss. Again, we're going to build something for him really quick. It's just going to be the same dragon team we used, honestly, with all of these good champions. They're not anywhere near as geared as they should be for good results here, but it's still going to be good enough. Again, we're just going to let them do their thing on auto. It's going to be quite the long battle. Buckle up. Well, probably not that long because our champions are not gonna be able to withstand this for far too long. Like, look at this. Elhain already died on her first hit. But the more you level them up, the more you rank them up, they're gonna get a lot stronger later. So there's that. No, that was actually not Elhain. That was Harris. She doesn't even have a single item on her, so no wonder she's dying. But yeah, if we're really trying to get good results on this, we need to put some decent items both on Ugo, both on Harris, and also get these guys a little bit stronger too. Okay, we're almost done here. Yeah, we couldn't even last 2 minutes here, but still we managed to get ourselves some decent chunk of damage. 260k for a day 4 account. Not the worst in the world. Let's see what that's gonna get us. Oof, literally nothing. I guess we need to attack this boss one more time to at least get ourselves literally the weakest chest, which is still giving you some decent rewards. Like, you still have a chance of actually getting yourself an ancient shard, and ancient shards do actually have a very small chance to get you a legendary champion, but a chance nonetheless, so why wouldn't you? It's also giving you some potions, some silver, all of that stuff, so very, very important for you to concentrate on clan boss and try to do your best each day. Here on the little chest button, you can see how much damage you need for each individual chest. The first weakest chest requires you to deal at least 285,000 damage, and the best chest here requires you to get over 1,150,000 damage. Yeah, try your best to be getting your max chest for each boss you're attacking. It's gonna take a while for you to get some respectable results, but it's gonna happen as long as you put your mind to it. Okay, I actually wrote Zadie's guild. That would be real nice if they actually help out on the easier clan bosses. I know it's gonna be a little bit out of their way, but still, it's worth a try. They do seem to be a nice bunch of dudes over there. The next tip that Zadie has actually been asking me about is how you can get your hands on more gems. The game is actually going to be giving you a lot of gems as you first start out. You're going to have plenty of different places to find them. As you saw, Zadie already got himself 50 gems out of getting 3 stars in campaign. He's going to get more once he goes to the next difficulty, which is hard. After 30 stars, he's going to get himself 25 gems out of this, which is nice. Other places you could be getting gems would be through your daily quests. If you finish all of your daily quests, you're going to get yourself 10 gems. If you finish your advanced quests later, he's going to have to level up quite a lot more to get those. He can get more. Your monthly quests actually can get you 100 gems each month. if you upgrade a champion to rank 5. So for instance, if he decides to upgrade his Rector Draft to rank 5 after he's leveled her up to 40, if he decides to level up Elhain up to rank 5, that's going to give him 100 gems like that. He could also do some of his missions, which is also something you should really pay attention to. Like, try to be moving through these missions simultaneously. Always pay attention what you need to do next. For instance, win a campaign battle using 4 champions of level 20 or higher. It's not going to be very hard for him. That's going to net him a nice little rare skill tome. With artifacts here, you should be paying attention what you need to be doing. With the dungeons, you should be looking out what you should do next. Arena is something you should definitely not ignore. No matter how early you are in the game, you're still going to be able to progress because all the other players are also pretty new. Yeah, for now, I'm not going to go deep into the how you can get yourself more gems. You can definitely check out my very detailed guide on how to get yourself extra gems. But until then, let's also talk about where you should actually be spending your gems. Zadie almost is at the breakpoint where he should be spending 800 gems on his campaign farmer. And as you guys saw, I am definitely leaning towards getting masteries on Wukong because he is going to be his main campaign farmer. Other people advise to use your gems on your starter champion. I think that was a good tip back in the day. Nowadays, if you're planning to be serious about the game, I think it's far better to just go for the big guy. Just go for your legendary, slap him with the big masteries, and that's gonna get you a lot further in the game, a lot faster if you ask me. So yeah, this is where you should be spending your first 800 gems. It is very important. Getting masteries on your champion is literally an absolute game changer for you. And you could just go to hellhades.com. That's where I copy-paste my masteries if I'm not feeling like figuring them out on my own. You just write the name of the champion, Wukong, write HH, and that more often than not gets you to Hellhades. And here we go, Wukong. Scroll all the way to the bottom and check what masteries you could slap on him. General PvE. I do believe we could make these even better if we're actually just planning to go for Wukong as our campaign farmer. There are things that are going to make it a lot easier for you to actually sustain and whatnot, but these are also not a bad mastery tree to go for. As you're going to notice, you are going to get different results depending on what area of the game you're trying to use him. If you're trying to use him as a debuffer in PvP, here's what you go for, but more often than not, you're going to be using him as a nuker in PvP, so this would be for PvP, this would be for PvE, but you could definitely make this even better if you put your mind to it and really go through these masteries. There are some certain masteries that are going to help Wukong being a lot harder to deal with in campaign. So this is the first place you should be spending gems on. Here's how it goes. Get all scrolls and it's asking you to spend 800 gems. This is what you spend them on. The second gems you start getting after that would be to unlock yourself the gem mine. He could actually unlock it right now, but this would be a huge setback if you ask me. Like, yes, the gem mine is very important, but priority number 1 for you would be to progress in the game through campaign as fast as you can. So you can get your hands on a lot more leveled up, ranked up champions, so you can actually tackle some harder pieces of content. But yeah, after you've spent 800 for masteries, you spend 1500 for gems. It's 500 3 times basically. And after that, you could also spend on unlocking more slots in your sparring pit. Right now, Zadie doesn't have anybody in the sparring pit. This is kind of a mistake. You can definitely put somebody in. Let's say this guy. He's not very useful for him in general. So we could just level him up all the way to level 30. So you can rank him up to a 4-star chicken, basically, and feed it to his Elhain or Rector Draft and whatnot. But if we gotta be completely honest, the priority here would be to actually get his Wukong all the way up to rank 6, because that is gonna be an absolute game changer for him. Again, you could actually check out my detailed guide on mistakes and also tips for Raid Shadow Legends. There I'm also talking about more in detail about where to spend your gems and whatnot. But for now, for this beginner guide, this will have to do. Another thing you really need to pay attention to in Raid is actually the tournaments and events. Right now, Zadie should be in a new player tournament. This is the novice tournament, it seems. It finished. He didn't do all that well. He should have been able to go all the way up to 100 points here because that would have given him 4 5-star speed items. That would have been pretty nice for him. But you definitely need to be paying attention to the tournaments and what they require you to do so, because they're basically gonna guide you where you should be spending your resources. Right now we also have a bunch of events. It would be a good idea for him to concentrate on upgrading his champions and whatnot. Again, leveling them up, ranking them up, feeding them into better champions and whatnot. This is also a great source of extra gems. Here we have 15 gems for free basically by leveling up Elhain, ranking her up all the way to level 4. He should definitely concentrate on getting even the epic chest, the epic skill tome here would be pretty easy for him if he concentrates on leveling up his food. He can also actually concentrate on gearing up. He actually did go all the way up with all of those bad items he upgraded. I guess he had that going for him, got some gems, got some energy, even an ancient shard, pretty decent. So yeah, basically pay attention to this section right here and do your best to actually complete most of those tournaments, because you are going to be getting yourself a lot of extra resources that way while playing the game normally as you should be. So that's going to be it for part 2 of this beginner guide, guys. Hope this really helps you figure out what you need to be doing in your first days in Raid, and I really hope this protects you from doing some huge mistakes in Raid that can be really account breaking and take you weeks if not months of progression. Again, don't forget to start the game with a download link so you can get your hands on 2 of the best epics in the game as well as Sun Wukong, and that is really gonna skyrocket your progress. If you have literally any questions, feel free to ask me in the comments below, and I'd really appreciate it if you drop a like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, I'm Chris05 and I'll see you in my next video.